What's up, After Buzzers? My name is TK Trinidad. We are talking The Americans, Season 5, Episode 4. What's the matter with Kansas?
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah. Whenever we do the show, it takes us back to the 80s, the music.
I have nothing for this pick.
99 Balloons. This song, I forget the German singer, but it's pertinent to the show because she's talking about the Cold War. And, you know, the pointlessness of nukes and missiles aimed at each other. So 99 Balloons.
She kind of sounds like Licky Lee. A little bit.
Who's that?
Swedish.
Welcome, y'all, to The Americans. My name is TK Trinidad. I will be your host for today. And, of course, joined right beside me are these two guys.
Hey, what's up? I'm Al Gragg. You can follow me on Twitter at SoundClashCine and on IG at ALG_Jamaica House Film.
Hello, guys. My name is Emmanuel Wright. You can find me on Instagram at Young Camel Toe. That's YUNG Camel Toe. You can also find me on Twitter at Dervid Spitz. Thank you.
Dervid Spitz. Get it together, TK. We got a long show ahead.
Oh, heaven help us. All right, so we have so much to talk about. So let's dive into Philip and Elizabeth's new relationships. So is Philip losing his touch with Deidre?
No, Deidre's just
Yeah, she's just a
ain't
total
got no
nerd.
touch.
But she's digging him though.
You think so?
Yeah, she's just,
I mean, do you think that's just for necessary of the show, or do you think in real life
I
it
think
would have...
Deidre's like a really lonely, geeky woman, and she's just like, you can see where she was flattered when he was like giving those compliments, and she's just happy to get attention, I think.
Yeah, she was surprised that somebody would have talked to her for so long. She was like, wait a second, this guy's actually talking to me. Okay, all right, now I'm with this conversation. But I don't think she's seeing much of... She's not seeing that much action, so seeing a young stud like Philip, you know.
And young stud Philip, he had this weird, like, two emotions on his face. Partial, like, yeah, I got her on the hook. And the other one was like, she's kind of lame, but, you know, I got to do this for my job.
Really? Because I got the feeling more of, like, he's losing his touch. That's the feeling I got.
He was bored out of his mind. There was probably another bad one, cycling right in front of him, who he saw and was like, man, I wish I could talk to her. But he had to talk to... She looks old, too. Like... Old.
But they got a second date hooked up anyway, so he's going to call her.
She didn't confirm.
She didn't confirm, but I predict the second date will go on.
Okay, so do you think that... So what's all the information that he's getting? Do you think he'll actually be able to access it?
I think so. She's a VP of, what's the name of the firm?
Agricor.
Speak on a guy. And, yeah, so I think he's going to pump her. And she likes talking. She likes talking about her job. That makes her feel good. So, yeah, he's going to pump her good.
He's going to cycle all through those... No more cycling class needed. Go to Deidre's house.
Bam.
And Elizabeth and Bill.
Ben? Is it Ben?
Ben.
Yeah. Oh, Ben, my bad.
Yeah.
Ben's about to get it in, folks.
And Elizabeth likes Ben. That's the crazy part.
So do you think with the her stopping him, was that more of she might not want to play that role anymore and she's kind of like hesitant? She knows she has to do it for her country, or do you think it's a play?
It was a play. She was just like, look, if I hold back here, maybe he'll like me even more.
Is that what happens
Stringing
in real
him
life?
on like the ladies
That's
do.
what happens in real life. If a female's like, nah, you know what, I'm not going to give it to you this time, then the guy's like thinking about the next week, like, oh, I can't wait to get this. I can't wait to get this.
Elizabeth's got mad game, too.
It works.
But yeah, the scary thing, did you see a hint of jealousy on Philip's face too when she was like, yeah, we're going hiking?
Yeah. Nah,
I don't think it's jealousy. I kind of think that they got, because in the seasons previous to that, you know, they weren't as, I find in this season they're like actually married. Whereas the other seasons, like, you know, they were just, you know, first season they were kind of playing being married, and the other seasons like, okay. But after she got shot, that changed the game a little bit, and now it feels like they're legit, like they're husband and wife versus faking it.
I agree there, but I just got the feeling though that like Elizabeth's job, her mark is a little bit more is better company, and Philip's just like, damn, I got to deal with this girl, you know, like that.
Well, Elizabeth's also a catch. considering.
So the ladies don't like Philip? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Philip doesn't have, like, there's a couple of things. It feels like Elizabeth is definitely, even though Elizabeth is about her family, if it came to making those two options, like a life option, there might be a hesitation to pick her family, but I think the cause is going to override that. Whereas Philip, not as much. I think he is more about his family, and the cause is secondary, as you've seen, like, noted in previous seasons. So I just feel like it just comes easier to her, because even if he was like a lame duck, she would still, play the role. Whereas I think Philip is like, he's gotten used to being the family man, and they got used to, like, kind of being a unit, and now he has to go and play this role again, and he doesn't want to do it. On top of the fact that she's not, she's not his type and all this other stuff. So it's just like I think he's over playing the role. Like, I think if you were to give him the option of stopping his job for the government,
and he mentions that too. He said, "You think we're gonna get fired?"
Right. And he said it jokingly, but in a sarcastic way. Yeah. So I think if he were ever to have that option, he would go for it. Whereas Elizabeth, not so much.
Yeah, she's diehard.
So you think she was making the play, and eventually Ben's gonna.
Yeah, she got Ben on a short leash, but again, I just think it makes her job easier. I mean, she's a good flirt too, but I think it makes her job easier that he's slightly more charismatic. He's not, than our girl Deirdre.
But Deirdre might be like...
She might be a freak in the bed. Who knows?
And see, me and Al were talking about this earlier. It's very lucky that everybody that Elizabeth talks to happens to not be a player. Because what if, like, the guy just didn't care that she slept with him and just was like, I don't want to see you anymore.
Thanks,
and, like,
beat it.
It never happens. She always meets some dude who's, like, looking for love and wants to give info. It's very lucky, Elizabeth. The gods are watching.
Oh boy.
Don't come to me for info though. Don't put me on the show. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Ladies, come to both of us. Young Camel 1, Young Camel 2. This is where you get all your dating, relationship info.
Yo, that's Young Camel 1. I'm Young Camel 2.
But I like 2 because that's what you said last week. Young Jacuzzi. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Let's
get on focus. Let's get on focus.
I don't know how I always get wrangled into this stuff. So Pastor Tim entered back into the mix. Now Paige is kind of doing some snooping. Do you think she actually realizes, what they kind of give her some information as far as being a spy and what they're about? But do you think she's grasping it, or do you think she's grasping the idea of it?
The idea.
I think she's got her head around it, like, for the most part, or as much as she can at this point in time. Because the crazy thing is about Pastor Tim, she actually likes him. Mm-hmm. She confided in him, and it's almost like the minute that he was like, yo, here's this other side to me. Here's this book by Karl Marx. Mm-hmm. He's reaching out to her, and she takes advantage of that intimacy, and she's all the way already peeping through his stuff. Right. So she's already like, Mom, she's hardcore. Yeah. We used to like each other. We're good friends, but now I can get all up in your business.
But she's not sleeping with him and doing it.
That's true.
See,
right.
Thank God.
That would switch some things.
Thank God.
So do you think she'll be able to flip him?
I don't think she's trying to flip him. I just think she's just trying to get all the information, or maybe as far as what you're saying, maybe blackmailing him, finding out his dirt. But so far, like, he has to be of value. I mean, and it won't probably necessarily be him. Maybe she'll get dirt on him on his whatever, if he's cheating on his wife or whatever, the good pastor. But I think it's more like who's in his church. Maybe they can find information on to ultimately get to some valuable spy info.
I don't know. Paige just seems. I'm conflicted because I think it's kind of one of like, how when you're a kid you listen to songs or movies or something like that, and they seem fun, and now you listen to them back as an adult and you're like, my parents actually let me. Like, I think she's just not ready, and she's gonna make a crucial mistake that now might expose the family. And speaking of the kids, Henry finally shows up.
Henry's
like
back in the house.
For the Applejack.
I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, it took me a second. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So what do you, do you think the writers have a plan for Henry, or is it because of his growth spurt and, it could be one of two things. Do you think, one, they have a plan for him and, we're going to see that later on in the season, like the stuff that he's been doing because we haven't seen him? Or do you think the writers just don't have a plan for him? And, you know, it's almost like that Family Matters show where the younger sister just pops up randomly, not much of a storyline. Like, do you think there's a storyline for him?
I think they definitely have something in mind for Henry, just because they introduced that whole subplot of his math teacher calling. So and something's obviously going on with him because he's real touchy.
Right.
So I think more will be revealed on that.
Is he more touchy because he's just a teenager, or?
Probably that, but I think
And
there's
he
something
wants
else too.
Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Apple Jacks are pretty good.
And if your pops
Come
eats
on.
all the Apple Jacks.
I'm just saying, man.
Well,
and he laughed at it too. He's like, "Oh, I did her."
But that's the whole thing too. One point that's really interesting with, you know, bringing the historical context to it is we do it today too. The use of food, like he noticed they didn't have Apple Jacks. And Elizabeth's like, well, just go and buy it. Obviously, he can't do that. So then she gives him her bread, and he didn't want that. That's not good. And he throws it in the trash like it's nothing,
And
right?
This is the 1980s, too.
Right, and now you go to Russia where people are literally like starving for food. You see the connection?
Yeah, no,
so
it's nice
just
contrast.
it's and we do that today. Like, think of the portions that we get in our meals, and you know, people toss it away. Sometimes you can give it to the homeless person because it's LA. We have homeless people.
Take it in a doggy bag, put it in your fridge. That's what I do.
Some people do that too, but then some people bring it home and then it's not up to par, and then you toss it. So it's just kind of like that contrast between the two. I wonder if that's going to play a role as far as is he going to play the role of that almost like that spoiled, not rich kid, because they're not rich, but that spoiled entitled person, and is that going to lead into a story, or is he going to realize that, okay, there's something wrong with this picture?
I don't know. Over Apple Jacks and like a slice of bread, I don't think he's going to learn that lesson.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did the parents see that, and are they going to use that?
No, I think it was more for the viewer, just to think about it. But the parents aren't going to hold that against them. They have bigger things to worry about than their son throwing away bread and complaining about Apple Jacks.
Perfect. That's another thing too. They have so many other things going on, like the fact that they were sent to this mission now that they have to fly out every week. Like, even if Henry is doing something, will they even be able to notice? And then if Paige goes and tries to do some renegade stuff, will they be able to notice that? Like, is this gonna put a lot of stress on the family unit?
Yeah, Paige is off the hook, like her and her like rogue elements. But one thing we got to note, which happened in the previous season, which Paige, because she felt guilty about kind of letting some information slip to the pastor, she's actually looking for this old tape, I guess, that he made of her. So I guess that's one motivation. But yeah, Paige is just off the hook. She's like, oh yeah, well, I was there, you know, so I made the decision. And just a side note, back on when at the beginning when Philip and Elizabeth met with their handlers, Gabriel, talk about everybody being feared for their job. Are we going to get fired? Meaning, are we going to get killed? But I don't know. What was I taking it back though? He sensed that something was wrong. They were like, we don't like going back and forth to Kansas and kind of draining all this stuff going on. And it's like, he's just like, well, yeah, you know, that's the job. And Elizabeth immediately took the cue, like, okay, let's back down, let's deal with it. But what's crazy is just like, yeah, like they can't get no leeway, they can't get no like vacation days if they wanted.
This is the KGB.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, so that's the whole thing though. Like, is there ever an end point? Like,
Never.
are they going to go until they're 90 and then it's like, okay, you guys did a great job, and then 2 bullets to the head?
Just
how the
use them up.
KGB works.
They just use them up and use them till there's nothing left. And then they don't use the kids.
Unless you know James Bond.
There you go.
Dun dun dun. No, I'm playing. I'm stupid.
Let's talk about a little bit about Stan and Stan and Renee, his girlfriend.
Renee, Stan and Renee.
What do you? I don't know. Part of me thinks, and I think they kind of alluded to that a little bit, that she might be some sort of spy.
Yeah.
And part of me just thinks she might be on the ditzy side of things. Like, you know, you meet those people who are always happy, and you're like, you know, I've come to the point now. It's like, that's great. Like, that's you. Because sometimes if you haven't lived long enough, that just becomes annoying. Then
I just think she's too good to be true, at least for Stan. So whether it be a spy or some kind of hidden other past or whatever, there's something going on. There's more than appears at the surface.
Or maybe she just sees a nice guy.
Yeah, but I think it's gonna be more complicated. It would be more interesting if it was more complicated.
But he needs something like that to, you know, take his mind away from what's happening with Oleg and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
he needs a distraction. I think she's a good distraction in his life.
Well, I mean, and it felt like he stepped up when he went to the CIA to essentially blackmail them.
Yeah, I love that.
Dangerous.
That was a good scenario.
Boss move.
That was dangerous, though. That's gonna come back to bite him.
And here's the
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
like we forget about Stan. You know, he looks like such a square, but I remember that episode when he killed that innocent cat. So Stan will
Vladimir?
Stan will do what it takes, and it's for the audience. You know, he was basically like, "Look, I'll confess to all the stuff I've done if you don't leave Oleg out of this." So I like at the end of the day, he still tries to maintain his principles and hardcore at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely a good move. And like you said, he's done certain things throughout the seasons where it's just like, okay, when he needs to step up, he'll step up. But it's just kind of like, it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. He kind of almost has that. He plays a fine line between like the bumbling, like fool, and then like somebody who, almost, I don't know, it's like a Pink Panther or like a combination of Pink Panther and Mr. Bean type combo. It's just it's interesting.
I think he's
role.
just like naturally kind of a square, but like the flip side of that is if you're so like rigid and maybe, I don't know, maybe like very by the books, you know, he just carries that, you know, to the nth power, you know, with his job too.
But how much by the books? It seems like he's when we first met him, he was definitely by the books.
Yeah.
But now it just seems he's varied, and he's probably seen a lot of different things that he didn't expect to see. So now it's no longer like black and white.
Yeah, his character is totally changing, just like all of them. All of them are just getting, you know, more and more compromised.
And I mean, I feel like with Stan too, I think Stan knows that playing the role of the fool is wise. You know what I mean?
Right.
If people think that you're not as smart as you actually are, it's to your benefit. And I think he recognizes that.
So where do you think I don't know, I'm kind of confused as far as, so Stan makes that power move, and then, like, you know, we're in episode 4 right now. I'm kind of confused as far as, you know, what they're gonna do with his character. Like, you know, if the girl comes to play and she turns out to be a spy or someone we didn't think she was, and that's a whole nother, you know, element of it. But I don't know, I don't see like a future for his character. Or did you see something that I may have missed?
I mean, a future for his character as far as, I mean, I think he's going to be there, you know, through the whole stretch.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to die, but more of like, I guess, the character, like almost like he's a step above Henry, meaning that Henry's there in character for him, but there's not much of a storyline. So do you think there's going to be a storyline that's coming for him? Or?
Yeah, I think it's definitely
Yeah.
coming. Yeah. And what I love about the whole relationship is, like, think about how messy it is. This only can be like in a movie or a TV show, but undercover KGB agents live across the street from an FBI agent,
Right?
And their daughter's dating the son, and yeah, it's crazy. It's super messy. So yeah, we know it's all gonna push to a head. Oh no, yeah, we got a Philip's son heading over, sneaking in over the border. I think it was Serbia.
Yeah.
Hiding under the refrigerators.
Arrived in New York.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we saw in the previews now that now they're deciding it either to let Philip know or not let Philip know. It looks like they're gonna kill him, essentially.
What do you mean, TK? Let them know as far as
So
what?
essentially, the previews for next week. So
Oh, see, I didn't peep them.
oh.
Go ahead.
Spoilers.
I guess I just watch the whole show. I'm just messing with y'all. So the previews for next week show that oh my gosh, I just lost his name. Philip's son.
Isn't it Misha?
Yeah.
Yes. Misha arrives in New York, and then the handlers essentially get a hold of him. So now they're deciding whether they're going to let Philip know or.
But
I don't think they're going to kill him. Like I think it's possible. That's a possibility.
Well, that's
on the table.
crazy if the handlers will get a hold of him, but I hope they don't. I didn't even think about that. I
Yeah.
just thought about him.
Well,
finding
he was
Philip.
sitting with them, so that's confirmed. Sorry.
Which scene with the Phillips handlers?
Yes.
Okay, I must have missed that scene.
It's in the previews for next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So you get to like.
I
It's
caught
almost
it.
like you gotta watch the end
Here's
of
the
it.
scene. But just to
Watch the end of
clarify,
it.
I caught the scene where he's sitting with he's negotiating with the two shady guys who's sneaking him over. But yeah, I definitely got to rewind that, you know, and go check that out if he's actually sitting with his handlers.
Yeah,
That was a smooth way to get through the border, too.
It's not a real. Oh yeah, the border scene was really good.
When he was
The
talking,
fridge.
what was he talking about? Soccer? Was that soccer?
Yeah.
He was talking about? Yeah. He was like, "Yo, who scored? Who scored?" And was the guy behind him on the?
Yeah, that was a cool distraction.
Okay, so they planned out the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I
All
mean
right.
that happens. Like a couple of hosts and I were at the liquor stores buying liquor for a guest,
Hey.
and the store clerk, I showed him my ID and everything, and now we're having a conversation. In the midst of the conversation, the other co-host buys alcohol. He doesn't ask for his ID, not necessarily in like a young way. It's just more, okay, you know, we're in this conversation. I'm swiping. I'm still having conversation, and you know, he looks like he's underage. So it's just like one of those situations that you play it right, and you get into the zone of talking about something that people like to talk about, it's super easy. But under the fridge, like,
it's very tense, very full of suspense. And I like the fact that their partner, the one in the back car, because he was being an asshole, like honking the horn, that was make the guy, okay, this is the guy we're gonna fuck with. We're gonna say it's your car, you know, so we're gonna take the heat off of them.
Yeah, so he gets past all of that. And yeah, I think next week's episode, I know next week's episode is going to be really interesting as far as what is going to happen to him. Where is he going to go? And Elizabeth knows about him, but does Henry and Paige know about him? And that's a whole nother element in itself. And, you know, I don't know.
That's a good question.
It seems very, very messy.
I don't know.
Yeah, the kids don't know.
No,
but
because Paige would be asking.
Paige would be all up in there.
Right, but then what would that dynamic be? Because they told Paige about their life, but they didn't really tell Paige about like everything. Yeah. So that's gonna be,
which is smart because Paige is annoying. So
Paige is on a need-to-know basis.
I wouldn't tell Paige anything. If that was my kid, I would be with the KGB agents talking about you shouldn't tell Paige anything. Of course you shouldn't tell Paige. You should tell Henry some things. All he's gonna trip about is Apple Jacks. Like, oh, they're dying over in Russia. Well, why don't you go send them Apple Jacks? I don't know. I think Henry would be smoother with the info.
Do you think that they're gonna convert Henry? Because Henry's getting to about that age,
right?
So do you think he's in the plan of them converting as well, or?
I think that's in his future, but probably more maybe like next season, something like, you know, something that the audience doesn't want to see him lose his innocence, but tragically he will.
Yeah, because he's still so innocent, considering the fact that now he's taller than his sister, his older sister, which I've had that happen to me. It's the worst feeling in the world. Terrible, terrible, terrible feeling.
Why?
Because you're the older sibling.
What does tall have to do with anything?
Because now that younger sibling can look down on you.
Yeah, but you have leverage.
Yeah, but when somebody's looking down at you, you have to almost like prove yourself. And then on top of that, it being a brother, they're naturally eventually gonna get like there was a moment where, you know, we were like play fighting, and it's like, oh, okay.
It's that moment when he gets bigger.
He's like, I can beat you.
That's not gonna happen anymore. It's like, all right, fine, got it, tap out. You know, so it's just it's never a good feeling.
Can't always be in control, TK.
You gotta use your mind power, use your spiritual power.
What do you guys think is going to happen next week?
I think more is going to happen with Oleg's new partner, Ruslan.
Yes. Oh, we didn't mention the grocery. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it's always crazy whenever your boss introduces a new person in the mix, because you're like, who is this person? You know, is he going to be down? He's going to be snitching on me? So, yeah, so they go and revisit the Russian store owner, the lady, and again they're trying to get a name. Trying to get a name.
Sidekick.
Yeah. But homeboy Ruslan is hardcore. That's his thing, I guess, his interrogation. So he's like, yeah, you know, basically we'll jail you, your family, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they're playing good cop, bad cop, essentially.
And so they get a name from her. But here's the funny thing: when they go back, Ruslan and Oleg, to debrief their boss about, you know, the information they got, it's almost it's okay. That same dynamic happens where Oleg is like, well, you know, we don't want to blackmail this person's name we got because this person has a son in the war in Afghanistan, and everybody's looking at him like, wait, you know,
this is the KGB.
What are you talking about?
Right.
But again, it just clarified for the audience what was going on in the 80s is during the Cold War. Is obviously we weren't directly at war with Russia. All of our surrogates were, and so the Russians were back in the Russians were back in the Afghanistans, right? Afghanis. And correct us if I'm wrong in the chat. But anyway, obviously, yeah, you know, whatever contact they have a son there, and they're using it to blackmail him. And yeah, it's hardcore, and everybody has a struggle of like, okay, what I'm willing to do and where's the line.
And I think Oleg feels for, you know, the son over in Afghanistan because the same thing is happening to him. You know, with the whole Stan situation. Yeah. And it seems as if Oleg, Oleg even says, like, I told a man back in the States some things I shouldn't have said, and now he's out to get me. So he doesn't even know Stan's looking out.
And mom just breaks down and cries. That's so sad. And that's the funny thing, man, is like you think you want to tell your mom, but like certain things you can't tell her.
Right.
Because she's just like, well, can I get some advice from your mom? No, because she's just going to ruin her. She's just going to cry.
Do what you must do, son.
Wow.
But it was sad. It was kind of sad.
And we're laughing.
Touching.
Yeah.
All right. What are your predictions for next week?
Paige is.
I was waiting for the sound. Oh, there we go. No light. Oh, there we go.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
After you, my friend.
We gotta wait. We gotta wait for the green Green light, red light. All right, cool. Ben's about to smash. She's about to get in those. That's going to be the opening scene. It's going to be Elizabeth on the wall. She's going to be, and it's going to be great. We're going to have Philip with
Instagram.
Deidre and, whatever. Deidre, Long Dre, Dr. Dre, whatever her name is. Her saggy self. He's going to be looking very unenthused while doing it, but he's gonna do it.
Take one for the
Mother
team.
Russia. For Mother Russia. And Paige is gonna be saying some dumb stuff, as always. Hey Mom, can I do this? How can I help the cause? Oh, shut up.
I predict Paige is gonna get in deeper with whatever's going on with Pastor Tim. Pastor Tim. She's gonna find out some more dirt on that, and I also predict that, well, obviously we're going to see some more progress with Misha getting closer to Philip and Elizabeth. And, we're going to find out what's going on. I can't wait to see what goes on with Misha, basically. All eyes on him and how that's going to change the dynamic. Yeah,
I wonder if, because I can't remember how it came about last season, how much of his character we got to know. I wonder if, his mother kind of taught him about the KGB, or is he just going like, I'm just looking for my dad?
He's just going like, I'm looking for my dad.
So he's just essentially
because even the girlfriend,
like a lamb.
Philip couldn't even tell his ex-girl, obviously at the time, about what he was doing.
Right. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. I definitely see Paige snooping around, and she's going to get caught in some way, shape, or form. It's just, she's just too ahead of herself, and she's excited about the cause. However, she's it seems like with Elizabeth and Philip, they came from Russia. They experienced all these bad things, and they became realists at a very young age. So there's more of a maturity and understanding. With Paige, they not to say that they're rich, but she was kind of privileged, so she kind of lived in this certain way. So she thinks that she might be helping the cause, but now she's getting too ahead. It's like almost like they should send her to Russia real quick,
right? Let
her experience it and see it, and then almost come back with that maturity.
I think they should just leave Paige with Pastor Tim for a while, and that's like just see what happens. Paige getting what Paige get down and dirty with Tim to get
info? My God, I don't even want to think about that.
That's kind of scary.
But that's
she's
interesting
down for the
dynamic.
Cause, though.
Right.
She's down for the cause.
That would make things interesting because they already foreshadowed that Elizabeth is like, well, maybe we can find some dirt on the good pastor.
Right.
So maybe they're foreshadowing that it could be something with.
I'm not saying she has to go all the way down and dirty, but halfway.
No.
How old is Paige again?
16.
All right. Yeah. Well, but this is the 1980s, and she is from Russia, where I think the age is 16. In the age of consent was 16 over in Russia. So
her and Pastor Tim are gonna have a private, what do you call it, confession moment?
And
do some Bible study.
What was the age of consent for Americans back in those times? Was it still 18?
I don't remember. I'm not touching it.
I wasn't around. I'm saying 2017, that's illegal, but I'm saying in 1980s.
And I think it depends by state, too.
Yeah, I think it's state to state. I think it's depending on how the other person is, whether it's illegal or illegal.
But like her and Pastor Tim, they do have that bond, like, because he gave her the books. He gives her the book about Karl Marx.
So do you think he's setting her up? Because he does. I mean, obviously this doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, but he does have a wife and a kid.
Yeah.
But do you think he's setting her up
that
for?
Doesn't mean nothing.
I think they're gonna cross boundaries because they've always kind of been too close. That was the problem.
Yeah, a little too like as a mom, it's like no,
slightly inappropriate, maybe.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully that Paige does not fall on that Christmas tree.
Oh, doesn't fall
on that.
She's on a mission to find that Christmas tree.
Fell down and fell on the.
She needs that Karl Marx in her life.
Stan and his partner, I think that there's going to be another storyline where something's created for them, and he's going to, again, like we've seen before, he's going to get that close, and his neighbors, who he has no idea who they really are, is going to pretty much screw over the plan. So I'm really eager to see the storyline that Stan and what's his partner's name?
Dennis.
I want to see a Dennis storyline. Yeah. I want to see his backstory.
Dennis is good. He's kind of slick too. We got some game. But let me throw this out to you guys because it's funny when him and Stan are on that stakeout. Dennis is kind of telling them
words of wisdom.
Yeah, he's kind of telling this story about, and because Stan's worried about Oleg. He doesn't want to be trammed.
Right.
But Dennis tells him the story like, there was this one guy, kind of sensitive. We blackmailed him. We threatened to tell his wife. And,
with a straight face.
Yeah, we blackmailed the shit out of him. That's what he said.
Yeah.
But he said it ended up working out better for him. Now he has a family, living in America. America and blah blah blah. But so I'm just curious, you guys, why did Dennis say that and then Stan turn around and do the opposite, basically go down and throw the gauntlet down? Why was that scene important?
Maybe it was a test, or maybe he said that and that kind of pushed it. Like, you know, if you've been in this certain situation and somebody says something and essentially it throws you into the, like, you couldn't decide what you wanted to do and it threw you into the wrong or right direction.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just one of those situations where it was just perfect timing.
It helped clarify things for him, maybe.
Yeah. So where did I leave off of? I really want Henry to get I know next season probably might be Henry's season, but I really want Henry to get a storyline.
Something with Twan.
You know what? That would be really interesting. Like him and Twan actually doing some work together. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that would be an interesting storyline. Like the Elizabeth and Philip introducing him to Twan, and Twan now takes him under his wing.
I got a whole other family.
I want to see Henry with some gangsters, like some street dudes.
Something.
That's possible.
Something.
Like, you know, you kind of almost see somebody that you don't even traditionally see is hanging out with us. People's like, I don't know how that works, but so that could be a possibility. So definitely think Pastor Tim is going to prey on Paige, and then Paige might flip the script. Elizabeth and Philip, I think because their bond is getting so much stronger that it's going to make Philip question if he really wants to do this, and then that might actually push Elizabeth away.
Interesting.
Because now Ben, who just entered the picture, you can kind of see she's feeling Ben.
Yeah.
And so now if he provides that, you know, they confide in each other, obviously, in her character.
Yeah.
They confide in each other. That's almost going to be like the guy from the first season that, you know, he went out with
they're
the
like these mini emotional betrayals.
Right. So it's going to be, I can definitely see there's going to be a certain relationship there, and then Philip's obviously going to get jealous because that connection is going to be stronger than Deidre.
Which I don't see. Like, I don't see why Philip is gonna. Why is Philip still tripping off of what Elizabeth is doing? Like, he knows Elizabeth has hoish tendencies.
But man,
No, I don't.
Here's the thing.
She's just doing her job.
No, she's doing her job, but she likes it.
no, but she likes some of them, not others. I think he can tell the difference when she's kind of
Exactly.
feeling somebody,
But
and that's
I
what
think
fucks
she
with her.
likes it. Like, Philip, I don't think Philip is like, whatever for the country, but she's like, you know what? She finds some fun in it.
Yeah, it does. It does
There's
definitely
some
see that.
twinkles in her eye.
Yeah, it does definitely feels like Philip just kind of does it for, like, he just kind of goes through the routine with the rest of them. But yeah, I think in order for Elizabeth to actually do it properly, she has to invest emotionally. I think as a woman, that's what you might have to do in order to get over it.
But here's the thing. Even when she was talking to Paige, like, just in the kitchen, like, oh, what are you doing, Mom? I'm making lasagna. She had to, like, I'm gonna get some tonight type of look. Like, it was like Ben's not in the room, Philip's not in the room. It's just you and your daughter, but she had that look in her eye, like, I'm still thinking about Ben and this lasagna. Like, I don't know. She likes it. She finds fun in it.
Well, she's definitely good at her job.
Yeah. She's a method actor if she's doing that. She's really going in.
Speaking on the method and what people are really good at, sorry to bring this up, but seems to be the Trump administration is really good at making some more connections to Russia.
Donald Trump's in the house.
I'm just reading the news, people. I don't have a side on it, but
Blow
Trump.
up the comment section.
But this
now.
is how the show is relevant, people. You
Go
want to know
ahead.
how the show is relevant?
Tell 'em.
Relevant. Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who's married to Ivanka, who's actually one of Trump's top aides. He's head
Tell
of
'em.
all these different departments.
Yeah.
Now it's coming out that he has all these scandalous ties to a Russian bank, which the U.S. actually had sanctions against because the bank was basically a puppet of Putin. Guess what? There's also a Russian spy tied to that whole bank story. So the whole thing comes full circle. We got like a real live Elizabeth and Philip going on right now in America, running around with this administration. And hey, no judgment. I just think it's getting interesting. The news is interesting.
Putin's a god. Just remember, this is all planned out by Putin.
Putin will throw you out a window.
For Mother Russia. KGB in the house. I'm an agent. Y'all didn't know that.
What? How you like that?
Oh boy.
How about that?
Throw some anchovies on it.
Tell the people where they can find you so they can send you those comments.
Send your comments to me, people. My name is Al Gragg. You can find me on Twitter at SoundClashCine, and you can follow me on IG at alg_JamaicaHouseFilm.
It was lovely talking with you guys today, folks. You can find me on Instagram at Young Cameltoe. That's YUNG Cameltoe. You can also find me on Twitter at DearVidSpits.
I see all you guys' comments, so definitely shout out to Diego, Lady got Hill 12. Again, I'm really bad with names or
Keep it popping in the chat, people. Thank you.
yeah. J Pronto 01. So definitely
Leave a comment.
Yeah.
Let us know how you feel.
Tyler
love, hate.
Walker, all that other stuff. What I do actually want from you guys, because I know some of you guys were talking about the Cold War and all this other stuff. I know there's a lot of information, but kind of send us any information that you want us to read or check out so we can also bring it into the show. So definitely keep all those comments coming. We really, really appreciate it. Good or bad, all that good stuff.
And I may have been wrong about the Russian-Afghanistan thing. I may have got it wrong. So you guys clarify that for me, what was going on, you know, with the war.
So you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. We really appreciate you guys for rocking with us through episode 4. We will see you next week for episode 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Yeah.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.